This is my intermediate algebra course. Today we're going to take the second test of the course. I gave you a practice test for homework. Do not take this test unless you finish that practice test and make sure that you do it correctly and completely. Also, we did a practice test in the previous class. Be sure that you have gone over all those problems in the practice test that we did together before you take this test. So you should have completed 2 practice tests, one that we did together and one for homework. Don't take this test unless you know how to do every type of problem that we covered in the first half of this course. If you take this test and fail it, then that means that all the work that I've put into it is going to be for nothing. The purpose of this test is to prove that you know something, but if you fail it, that just proves that you don't know the material. So I don't care how long it takes you to finish the test. It may take you 45 minutes. It may take you a couple of hours. This test requires a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff on this test, a lot of graphs, a lot of calculations. So if you want to take a break halfway through the test, if you need to do that, if you want to do that, that's fine. I don't really care how long it takes you to finish the test. You can take 5 hours if you want. But just be aware that in school, they're not going to give you 5 hours. But the most important thing for you to do with this test is to demonstrate that you know the material. So you can take a break halfway between if you want, but just don't consult with a textbook or the internet. Don't get help from anything. You need to do this from memory. This is a college prep school. In school, they're not going to allow you to use your phone or the internet or anything like that. So now you don't need a calculator for this test. There may be some problems where you have to approximate root 15, for example. And to do that, you just need to recognize that root 15 is between root 16 and root 9. Root 9 is 3, and root 16 is 4. Root 15 is going to be much closer to 4 than to 3, because 15 is much closer to 16 than 9. So you can just approximate root 15 as 3.8. You don't really have to be exact. So go ahead and get screenshots of the test. Here's screenshot number 1. And screenshot number 2. And screenshot number 3. And number 4. And number 5. And number 6. And number 7. So clear off your desk or the table wherever you're sitting. You should only have a pencil and paper and the test. You can have your computer in front of you to see the test, or your phone, but don't use the internet. No internet, no help from anybody. You may want to time yourself just to get a feel for how long it takes you to finish a test like this. Okay, so go ahead and take the test. Pause the video. And when you're done with the test, push play. Start where we're stopping here, and I'll show you how to score and grade your test. So go ahead and pause the video, and I'll see you when you're done with the test. Okay, we're back. At this point, you should be done with the test. Don't look at the answers until you finish the test. If you just look at the answers, then that makes the test completely worthless. So you should be completely done with the test, and now we're going to check the answers. So get a screenshot of these answers. and a screenshot of the last 3 answers to these problems. So now we're going to talk about how to score your test. So as we mentioned, each problem is worth 4 points for a total of 100 points. So these are just some guidelines about how to score the test. You may have to use your own judgment when it comes to how to score certain problems. But again, these are just some things to think about. You might have a problem that tells you to graph a parabola. You have to write the coordinates of the vertex and 2 other points. Well, what if you forget to draw one of the points, and you draw the vertex and a second point, but you don't draw the third point? Well, that's up to you to really figure out how to score that. It's hard to give you exact guidelines on how to do that. So these are just general ideas. There are some problems where you should show some work, but there's a lot of problems that didn't really require algebraic steps. So this is not it's not necessary for you to show steps on every problem. Now there are some problems where you can't really rectangle your answer because it's a graph, but there are many problems on the test where you needed to rectangle your answers. So if you forgot to do that, you would lose points. Now there's no problems on this test that I can remember that require units like pounds or inches, so you don't need to worry about that. And I don't think there was any rounding that was specified in this test, so you don't need to worry about that. But you do need to write your name and the date and the course title and all that type of stuff. So go ahead and score your test. Again, here's the answers. And when you're done, we'll talk about how to grade the test. So stop the video, and when you're done scoring your test, push play at this point, and we'll go over your grade. Okay, we're back. So at this point you should have scored your test. So the grading is the typical type of grading. If you scored between 90 and 100, that means you did very, very well. If you scored between 80 and 89, that means you did well, but there's a few things that you could work on. And if you scored between 70 and 79, that means you did okay, but there's quite a few things that you need to work on. And anything below a 70 means that you need to change your study plan. 99% of the time that students score poorly on a test is they just didn't know the material as well as they should. So it just means that you need to take the studying more seriously. Again, if students have trouble, it's just that they don't know the material as well as they should. So if you scored in the green, good job. If you didn't do well, you can still make up for that in other parts of the course. But again, you need to make an adjustment to make sure that you're taking this course seriously. So that's about it for this class. We're halfway through the class, so I'll look forward to seeing you in the next class where we start the second half of this course.